I'm actually pretty embarrassed to admit that I personally have been low in iron in the past, and this was because I was taking a bunch of supplements that can lower iron. I was also donating blood too frequently. And so, in today's video, what I really want to do is outline the 10 signs and symptoms associated with low iron or iron deficiency that you must not ignore. So, you're probably wondering now whether or not you are actually low in iron. And just a reminder, the best way to assess whether or not you are low in iron is to take a blood test. And for this blood test, I recommend doing iron, ferritin, transferrin, and transferrin saturation. So first of all, what is iron? Iron is by far the most common and essential element used by almost all living organisms. It plays a crucial role in various biological processes, including the transport of oxygen in the blood through a molecule called hemoglobin. Iron is also vital for many metabolic processes such as the synthesis of DNA and energy production within cells. It is a component of numerous enzymes and proteins that are essential for maintaining good health. In the human body, besides its role in hemoglobin, iron is involved in muscle function, brain development, and the immune system. Moving on to iron deficiency. What is iron deficiency? Iron deficiency is the most common type of nutritional shortage globally and comes in two main forms: absolute and functional iron deficiency. Absolute iron deficiency happens when the body's iron stores are depleted because the amount of iron taken in doesn't keep up with what's needed by the body. This is often indicated by very low levels of a substance called serum ferritin, less than 30 ngl. Functional iron deficiency occurs when the body has iron, but it's not available for use even if overall iron levels seem okay or high. Prevalent iron deficiency is particularly common among older adults, affecting about 11% of those living independently over the age of 65, and more than 50% of those in nursing homes or hospitalized. Iron deficiency is also a major cause of anemia, which can make it harder for older adults to perform everyday activities. Now let's have a look at the food sources of iron. Iron is found in a variety of foods, and incorporating these into your diet can help maintain healthy iron levels. Iron from food comes in two forms: heme and non-heme. Heme iron is derived from hemoglobin and is found in animal-based foods, while non-heme iron is found in plant-based foods. Here's a list of foods rich in both types of iron. Heme iron source is animal-based: 1. Red meat, beef, lamb, venison. Red meats are some of the richest sources of heme iron. 2. Poultry, chicken, turkey. Darker poultry meats tend to contain more iron than lighter ones. 3. Seafood, oysters, clams, sardines, tuna. Shellfish and oily fish are particularly high in iron. 4. Liver and other organ meats. These are among the richest sources of iron. Now here's a crazy fact about iron deficiency that you probably weren't aware of. Iron deficiency ID is a global health problem that can be defined as plasma ferritin 12 mgll that has not been adjusted for infection or inflammation. Globally, ID affects around 2 billion people, primarily pregnant women and under 5 children residing in developing countries. The WHO has recognized iron deficiency anemia, IDA, as the most common nutritional deficiency in the world, with 30% of the population being affected with this condition. Although the most common causes of IDA are gastrointestinal bleeding and menstruation in women, decreased dietary iron and decreased iron absorption are also culpable causes. Patients with IDA should be treated with the aim of replenishing iron stores and returning the hemoglobin to a normal level. Sign number 1 associated with low iron is persistent fatigue. Persistent fatigue. Fatigue in iron deficiency results from insufficient hemoglobin, a protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. With inadequate hemoglobin, tissues and muscles don't receive enough oxygen to produce energy effectively. Researchers examined whether iron deficiency influences fatigue, muscle function, and rehabilitation outcomes in older adults. The study involved 224 patients aged 65, 95, predominantly female, admitted to a geriatric acute care ward. Various health metrics were assessed, including iron levels, fatigue, and physical strength. Key findings: 41% of the patients were found to have iron deficiency. Improvements in muscle strength and functional ability were observed in both iron deficient and non-deficient groups during hospitalization. Iron deficient patients who received iron supplements showed notably better improvement in knee strength. Iron supplementation was identified as a primary factor enhancing knee extension strength. Fatigue, comorbidity, and changes in grip strength were significant predictors of less improvement in overall function as measured by the Barthel Index. Iron deficiency independently affects fatigue and recovery in functional abilities among older hospitalized patients. Iron supplements can enhance functional performance and aid rehabilitation. Sign number 2 is immunodeficiency or increased susceptibility to infections. Immunodeficiency, increased susceptibility to infections. Iron is essential for immune cell production and function. Reduced levels can compromise the immune system. This study focused on the impact of iron deficiency on the body's immune system, specifically examining how it affects different types of lymphocytes, which are crucial cells in the immune response. The research involved 64 patients diagnosed with iron deficiency and 19 healthy individuals as controls. The key finding was that anemic patients had lower absolute lymphocyte counts, lower relative and absolute natural killer cells, which kill virally infected cells and detect and control early signs of cancer. Iron deficient anemia patients also showed a 3 to 4-fold increase in the risk of having recurrent infections. Sign number 3 is dyspnea or shortness of breath. Low oxygen carrying capacity of the blood due to reduced hemoglobin can make breathing more labored even during mild activities. Iron deficiency (ID) is quite common in people who experience unexplained shortness of breath, even if they don't have heart failure. In a study involving 272 patients who seemed healthy based on standard heart and lung tests, those with iron deficiency had a harder time during exercise. They couldn't breathe as much oxygen or perform as much physical work compared to those without iron deficiency. Interestingly, although their heart function appeared normal at rest during exercise, their hearts didn't pump as effectively and they struggled more to get oxygen into their blood. This research highlights that iron deficiency can significantly affect exercise capacity and overall energy levels regardless of whether someone has heart issues. Sign number 4 is several oral health issues such as swollen, sore tongue and mouth. Iron deficiency can cause inflammation and soreness in the tongue and mouth, often with a smooth tongue surface. Iron deficiency not only causes general symptoms like pallor, fatigue, heart palpitations, spoon-shaped nails, lightheadedness, and shortness of breath, but also affects the oropharyngeal region, which includes the mouth and throat. This can lead to several oral health issues. Conditions like aphthous ulcers, burning mouth syndrome, and various premalignant states such as Plummer-Vinson syndrome, oral lichen planus, and oral submucous fibrosis, as well as oral squamous carcinoma, are linked to an iron-deficient state. Plummer-Vinson syndrome, PVS, also known as Patterson-Kelly syndrome or sideropenic dysphagia, includes symptoms like microcytic hyperchromic anemia, atrophic glossitis, a smooth pale tongue, and esophageal webs or strictures. This syndrome was first described in 1919 and is increasingly rare today due to better early diagnosis and treatment. It's more common in postmenopausal women and can be a precursor to esophageal cancer due to the formation of webs in the throat. Burning mouth syndrome is another condition affected by iron deficiency, characterized by a persistent burning sensation in the mouth without visible mucosal changes. It is more prevalent among older Asian women compared to men and Caucasians. The tip and sides of the tongue are usually most affected by BMS. Sign number 5 is a bit unusual. It's actually something known as pica, which is craving non-food substances. An urge to consume non-nutritive substances like ice, clay, or soil could indicate iron deficiency, although the exact mechanism is not fully understood. In a study focused on pregnant adolescents in the US, researchers examined the relationship between pica, a condition where individuals have cravings to eat non-food items, and iron status. This longitudinal study involved 158 participants under 18 years old, predominantly African American and Hispanic. It was found that nearly half, 46%, of the adolescents reported engaging in pica behaviors, consuming items like ice 37%, starches 8%, powders 4%, and even soap 3%. Those who exhibited pica behaviors showed significantly lower levels of iron indicators compared to those who did not engage in pica. Specifically, the group with pica had lower average concentrations of serum ferritin, total body iron, and hepcidin. While the exact reasons behind this correlation remain unclear, the findings highlight the need for healthcare providers to screen for PKA during pregnancy, especially since it is associated with low iron status and the ingested substances could be harmful. Sign number 6 is actually poor cognition and poor concentration. Cognitive impairment, difficulty concentrating. Iron is necessary for maintaining cognitive functions. Deficiencies can impair concentration and memory. In a study involving 162 older adults living in the community, researchers explored the relationship between iron deficiency, ID, and its effects on cognition, mood, and physical function. About 30% of the participants were identified as having iron deficiency. The study used various blood biomarkers to assess iron levels and focused on how these levels are linked to memory, mood, and physical energy. The findings revealed that better memory was associated with higher levels of iron in storage and production, erythropoiesis, and this relationship was even stronger when the individuals had good nutritional status. Conversely, a more depressed mood was linked to lower efficiency in iron transport and utilization, and feelings of tiredness were more common in individuals with active iron use for blood cell production. These results suggest that lower iron status in the body is connected to negative effects such as depressive mood, increased physical tiredness, and reduced memory performance, with nutrition playing a key role in these relationships. Sign number 7, we have emotional instability or mood changes. Emotional instability, mood changes. Iron impacts neurotransmitter synthesis and function, which can affect mood and lead to symptoms like depression or irritability. The study aimed to explore how irritability and the emotional environment perceived by adolescents, expressed emotion or EE, differ between those with iron deficiency, ID, those with iron deficiency anemia, IDA, and their healthy peers. It involved 89 adolescents aged 12 to 17, with 19 diagnosed with ID, 31 with IDA, and 39 serving as healthy controls in a single-center cross-sectional case control study. The results showed significant differences in both self-reported and parent-reported irritability levels among adolescents with ID and IDA compared to the healthy controls. Specifically, both ID and IDA groups reported higher levels of irritability. Additionally, significant differences were noted in the way irritability was expressed between the groups, with those having IDA experiencing more intrusiveness, a specific aspect of EE. These findings suggest that irritability and the emotional climate around adolescents with iron deficiencies are areas that need attention. Given that iron deficiency and anemia are linked to emotional disturbances, including psychosocial evaluations and psychiatric consultations, might be beneficial in treating young individuals with these conditions. This study focused on the link between iron deficiency anemia, IDA, and psychiatric disorders in adults. Researchers used data from the Taiwan National Health Insurance database involving adults over 20 years old newly diagnosed with IDA from 2000 to 2012. They compared these individuals with a non-IDA group matched by age and gender in a 1:2 ratio. The findings showed that people with IDA were significantly more likely to develop psychiatric disorders, including anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, and psychotic disorders, compared to those without IDA. The risk of developing these disorders was about 52% higher for the IDA group. Interestingly, IDA patients who received iron supplements had a lower risk of psychiatric disorders compared to those who did not receive supplements. Specifically, supplementation seemed to notably reduce the risk of sleep disorders. Overall, the study suggests that IDA is linked to an increased risk of various psychiatric conditions, but iron supplementation could help reduce this risk, highlighting the importance of treating iron deficiency in preventing mental health issues. And sign number 8 is restless leg syndrome. This neurological disorder, characterized by uncomfortable sensations in the legs and an uncontrollable urge to move them, has been linked to iron deficiency. The Iron Woman study, a randomized controlled trial, held at a tertiary care center in Graz, Austria, investigated how iron supplementation affects iron deficient blood donors. This study included 176 participants, 138 women and 38 men, who were regular whole blood and platelet donors aged between 18 and 65 and had low iron levels ferritin HT30 Ng/ml at the time of donation. The participants received either intravenous iron, 1 gram of ferric carboxymaltose for 86 participants, or oral iron, 10 grams of iron fumarate across 100 capsules for 90 participants. The primary focus was to assess the impact of iron supplementation on various symptoms related to iron deficiency, such as restless leg syndrome, RLS, and chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, sleep disorders, and general quality of life. Additional symptoms like headaches, shortness of breath, dizziness, heart palpitations, unusual eating habits, pica, and changes in the condition of fingernails or hair were also monitored. Results from the study showed significant improvements in symptoms of RLS, fatigue, and sleep quality after 12 weeks of treatment, with noticeable reductions also seen in headaches, dizziness, dyspnea, and palpitations. Interestingly, there was no significant difference in symptom improvement between the groups receiving intravenous versus oral iron. Sign number 9 is pale skin and weak nails and hair. Pallor, pale skin. Hemoglobin imparts a pinkish hue to skin, so reduced hemoglobin levels can make this skin appear lighter or paler than usual. Onychorexis, brittle nails. Iron is vital for nail health. A deficiency can lead to brittle nails or nails that grow in a concave shape. The study focused on the lifestyle and health challenges of female nursing students in Cairo suffering from iron deficiency anemia. It involved a detailed survey of 160 students, which included assessing their knowledge of iron deficiency, their lifestyle and dietary habits, and the common health problems they face. Findings revealed that a significant number of these students exhibited physical symptoms directly related to iron deficiency. Specifically, skin issues. About 51.3% of the participants reported having pale skin, with 64.4% noting dark circles under their eyes. Nail problems. Approximately 64.4% of these students experienced weak nails, and 63.8% had brittle or malformed nails. Hair conditions. A considerable 81.9% of the students suffered from hair loss, 65.6% reported that their hair had lost its strength, and 55% noticed a paleness in the color of their lips, which can be related to overall hair and skin health. These physical manifestations highlight the severe impact of iron deficiency on these students' bodies, affecting not just their health, but also their appearance. And sign number 10 are headaches and dizziness. Reduced oxygen to the brain can cause headaches and dizziness, impacting overall neural function. In this retrospective study, researchers analysed 14 patients with iron deficiency at a general medicine outpatient department. These patients were categorised into either the iron deficiency without anemia group, EDWA, with normal hemoglobin levels but low ferritin, a blood protein that indicates iron stores, or the iron deficiency anemia group, IDA, with both low hemoglobin and low ferritin levels. The study aimed to compare the physical signs, laboratory data, and symptoms between these two groups. The results showed no significant differences in age, vital signs, or serum ferritin levels between the groups. However, symptoms like headaches and fatigue were more frequently observed in the IDWA group. These headaches were similar to migraines or tension-type headaches. Interestingly, these symptoms were completely relieved after the patients received oral iron supplements, although these clinical signs alone were not sufficient to diagnose IDWA initially. The findings from this pilot study suggest that measuring serum ferritin levels could be a useful screening tool, particularly for diagnosing iron deficiency in young women who experience frequent headaches. So in summary, iron deficiency is a widespread health concern that affects billions globally, manifesting through various signs and symptoms across different demographics and conditions. It can occur in stages starting as iron deficiency without anemia, IDWA, and progressing to iron deficiency anemia, IDA. Young women, particularly adolescents and pregnant women, are especially vulnerable due to rapid developmental changes, dietary insufficiencies, and the onset of menstruation. Signs and symptoms. Common signs of iron deficiency include fatigue, pale skin, brittle nails, hair loss, and in more severe cases, conditions like restless leg syndrome, RLS, and cognitive impairments such as difficulty in concentrating and mood changes. Specific to the oropharyngeal region, iron deficiency can lead to symptoms like atrophic glossitis and angular cheilitis. Impact on health. Iron deficiency has notable effects on physical health, such as decreased muscle function and impaired immune response, which can exacerbate the risk of infections. In adolescents, iron deficiency has been linked to decreased cognitive performance and increased psychological distress, manifesting as anxiety and irritability. For pregnant women, the deficiency can lead to poor pregnancy outcomes like premature birth. Treatment and management studies underscore the importance of iron supplementation in mitigating the effects of deficiency. Supplementation has shown significant improvements in symptoms like fatigue, headache, and exercise intolerance, irrespective of the administration method, oral or intravenous. Additionally, regular screening, especially in high-risk groups like young women and pregnant adolescents, is crucial for early detection and treatment, which can help prevent the progression to more severe anemic states. Dietary considerations. Diet plays a crucial role in both preventing and managing iron deficiency. Foods rich in heme iron, such as red meat and seafood, and non-heme iron, including legumes, nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, should be included in the diet. The absorption of non-heme iron can be enhanced by consuming vitamin C-rich foods alongside iron-rich meals. In summary, iron deficiency is a preventable and treatable condition that requires increased awareness, better dietary management, and appropriate medical intervention to address its wide-ranging effects on health and quality of life. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, please like the video, leave a comment down below to get a discussion going. That's it from me today, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.